How you doing, everybody? Tim from Ski Rex Media here once again with another brandy new episode of the podcast. Unless I'm using this as a repeat somewhere down the line, then it is not brandy new. But on the day it debuts, whatever day that is, I'm not looking up the calendar right now. It's brand new. And this week I'm doing yet another interview. The interviews just keep rolling in. We get different guests from all over the industry, athletes. We get other media people. We get friends of the show, all kinds of people. And we also get those who own and operate mountains. And you're going to see a couple more of those coming up. And today we have another that's not only owner operator of an independent mountain, but is here in Vermont, and we will get to that in a moment. But first, the shameless plug section of the show. Please bear with me as I tell you to go to skirexmedia.com, which has hopefully been redesigned. The redesign is finished by now. Maybe not. I'm having a lot of trouble with it. I just don't like what I see, but I might be getting something done. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, not the point. The point is skirexmedia.com for everything Ski Rex Media. Ski Rex Media on the social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn for those who like to do a little business via social media. Ski Rex Media is on all four of those. Please follow. Also, this podcast is on most major audio-only platforms, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast. Please follow, rate, share, subscribe if it's not follow, and YouTube and Rumble for the video versions as well. Subscribe there, rate, leave comments, hit like buttons, do all that stuff for me. I do appreciate it. And if you do enjoy Ski Rex Media and want to show your fandom, skirexmediamerchshop.com. Get yourself cool pocket tee like I wear. Maybe with the camo, maybe not. We'll see what stays up on the shop, because not all of them have the camo, but I like the camo. And other fun little merch pieces from Ski Rex Media. Check all that stuff out, won't you please? I do appreciate it, and I thank you very much for doing so. But now we move on to why you're actually here, the interview. Now, Ski Rex Media and Tim from Ski Rex Media, myself, obviously big fan of the Indy Pass. I promote it all the time. I love it. I plan on using mine this year more than I did last year. And that includes getting to some mountains that I've never been to before, even here in Vermont. And one of those is Magic Mountain down there in Londonderry, Vermont, a mountain that in my lifetime was closed for a good chunk of my skiing days and was never able to get back. And now I can't wait to get back, and neither can a lot of people. And we talk all about that with the current president and owner and dishwasher and car parker and anything else over at Magic Mountain, one Geoff Hatheway. Wow, I just butchered his name. Geoff Hatheway over at Magic Mountain. We talked to him. Great interview. I enjoyed it. A lot of fun. Very informative. And he really just gets into a lot of the points of an independent mountain, how they run, why they run, the history of Magic. Reiterates a couple of the things we saw in the film In Pursuit of Soul. If you have not seen that yet, TGR's film, TGR and Indy Pass film. Doug Fish was a producer on this. Check out that film. Geoff was in it as a contributor. He talks about independent mountains. We talk about it here on the interview, and we talk about a few things. We talk about their calendar events, all kinds of stuff. Enjoy the interview, won't you? And remember, share it with your friends. Okay, no more shameless plugs. Enjoy the interview with Geoff Hatheway. A lot of fun, really fun guy, really knows his stuff. And we will I'll come back after the interview and we'll have a closing, right? Right. Enjoy the interview. Today on the Ski Rex Media podcast, we're back in Vermont talking to Geoff Hatheway down there at Magic Mountain. Sir, how are you this morning?
Great. A little snow outside right now. So
totally. I just went by there yesterday. I think it was. Yeah, yesterday. And I saw you had some trail coverage. I was like, what? Look at that. Winter Wonderland. I love it. So before we go too far into it, how about we just tell everybody, or how about you just tell everybody who you are and what you do?
Geoff Hatheway, president, co-owner of Magic Mountain here in beautiful Londonderry, Vermont. I basically wash dishes, clean the rugs, park cars, you name it. That's what I do. Excellent.
You see, that's the interesting part about some of these mountains. Some people hear president, co-owner, think you got your feet kicked up in a chalet somewhere drinking Dom Perignon and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
No way, dude. You're working.
Maybe a couple of PBRs. That's fine.
That's fine. That's okay. after work, everybody has to unwind. So Magic Mountain. Now, Magic Mountain for me is kind of interesting because I've never skied there, not once. And people ask me why. Is it because it's off the beaten path? I'm like, well, not really. Route 11's pretty main, and I have friends who live right up the road from it. No, growing up in southern Vermont, Magic Mountain was closed for a good part of my childhood. So, do you want to get into the history of it a little bit? What the mountain has been and is and going to be?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously you grew up in the lean years for, for Magic.
Yeah.
But Hans Thorner started Magic back in 1960. So it's got a long history. It really was one of the crown jewels at a given point in time in the 60s, 70s, early 80s of Southern Vermont skiing, which was kind of where it was at. The snow belt was there back in the 60s and 70s. I grew up skiing in the area. We had a farmhouse in Jamaica, Vermont.
Nice.
Off of Route 30. And, since I was 3 years old, we come up to Southern Vermont. First area I ever skied was Mount Snow. Then our cousins owned the Jamaica Inn back in the day, and we would pile into the Jamaica Inn and, all the kids all over the place. And, but we started skiing Stratton back then. Stratton had just started way back when. I remember when there were only like 3 trails at the top of Stratton. So
there you go.
That's how old I am. But, it's got a rich history because it was, Stratton, Bromley had been there before. Magic was about a year earlier than Stratton, even when it was founded. And it was really the influx of Austrian, Swiss influence on American skiing. And very much Stratton was the Austrian flavor. Bromley kind of was the all-American Pabst family flavor, and Hans Thorner brought the whole Swiss side of it and really had the first Swiss village concept of both ski area and the surrounding community all kind of having a similar feel. So we had houses that were developed in the late 60s, early 70s in Magic Village, and they were all Swiss themed houses. So they're still there today. And so Hans really had this original vision of how we would meld kind of the ski areas itself in terms of what he saw as a vision for some really excellent skiing with the community itself. So it was really one of the first ones. So really a lot of good heritage there. And then, he eventually sold it in the mid 80s to this consortium that also owned Bromley at that point in time.
Yep.
And that kind of signaled that first corporate consolidation, and it didn't work out well for Magic because Boston Concessions Group, which owned it, decided, we're going to keep Bromley, but we're going to shutter Magic, and Timber Ridge on the other side of Magic, which was another small ski area, shuttered both those. And really that was the, first time Magic hadn't operated since 1960, and it was closed for six long years.
It's a great history. If for anybody who likes ski history, we talk on Ski Rex Media quite a bit about like lost ski areas, like things that aren't around anymore. Timber Ridge being one of them, which I guess you could still go on, right? Do you have people going up over Magic or coming over from the other side?
Yeah. It's a separate property owned by a great local who basically maintains the trails. There are no lifts there anymore or anything in that, but he does mow the trails. And we are allowed to have people, go over to the backside, and you got to figure out a way to get back, either skin back up, or you get someone to pick you up on the other side of Timber Ridge off of Route 121. But yeah, it's a really neat property. And it's nice that he allows people to, ski over there or snowshoe, whatever they want to do. They can do that. It's when these two were combined back in the late 80s, those trails kind of still exist that connect the two mountains, so you can do it. But it's the Lost Ski Areas thing. Magic could have been one of those. Timber Ridge obviously was. We got another area that was in this kind of golden triangle of Stratton, Magic and Bromley back in the day, and that was Snow Valley. And Snow Valley is when you come up. You were driving the other day when you're
Yep.
coming up Route 11 from Manchester. Snow Valley's on the right, and there's still some good uphill, skinning that you can do there and get some runs in. But it's a little less kept up than Timber Ridge, but it's got some good steeps, and it's a nice little pocket that collects snow in there. So that's a good one for people who are interested in skinning.
And Snow Valley's interested to me. I only learned of its existence last year or the year before, quite by accident. I was looking at something on Google Maps on the satellite, and I seen the trails are still there. I was like, what's that? I didn't know what that was. Friend of mine lives right up the road from it, so that's and oddly enough, his parents live right next to Timber Ridge too. So it's a whole thing right down there, and it's a great area. I loved growing up in southern Vermont. And with all the uphill now you can do in these places, and magic too. And there was something I definitely wanted to ask you about, not to bounce around too much. But I was talking to Adam Sauerwine, host of the Pursuit podcast, not too long ago. And he was talking about a token that you got up at the top of Magic. I think he's where he said it was. You skin up and you can get a lift ride back up if you talk to the lifty. Is that still a thing? What was that about? That sounded cool.
I mean, that's been kind of part of our heritage, and I think it goes back to when we were closed.
Okay.
It shut down back in the mid 90s. The only way to access this great terrain back here was hike it yourself. So
yeah, totally.
That's what people did, and kind of we kept that culture going. And previous owners, even to us, allowed people to skin up. When we were open, if you could, you got up to the top, you could get a free ride back up. It's not something we're currently doing right now.
Sure.
With a free token for lift right up. It's just gotten so busy, and with us restricting capacity at the lifts and things of that sort, we really need people to have that ticket for the lift right up. But we've got a very generous uphill policy. Certainly, whenever we're closed, people can access it, and even when we're open, obviously, people can access it. All they need to do is get a free ticket at the ticket window, just so we know they're out there, take the uphill trail up and have at it. So we don't restrict that, but we just can't do the free token anymore.
Yeah. And that's fair. We're in those times where things have to change a little, but you do embrace the uphill, and a lot of places are, but other places aren't. And I think it speaks to, it's a smaller community mountain. And I think that's, and you can definitely comment on this. That's part of the success. Like I said, when I was a kid in the mid 90s, I was also skiing Mount Snow, but in high school I was working there, so I didn't have to pay for it. Shout out to Lizotte and the American Skiing Company from back in the day. So I was always at Haystack, Mount Snow, Killington. That's where I was every time I could go. But now you're open, and now it's a success. And I think the community part of it has been part of that success. But the more it seems, as you look on social media, regular media, people love Magic Mountain for every reason. Like, what a success story. Like, is that right? Am I overselling it, or, anything like that?
It's been a long struggle, I would say.
Yeah, totally.
The community has really truly been at what the heart and soul of this place has been all about. And so when Magic, to kind of continue that history, when Magic came back in 97 from being closed and things of that sort, it took a lot, because basically on the way out, it was pretty stripped bare. So snowmaking was, a lot of the pipes were kind of destroyed on the way out. The two key lifts were gone, the beginner and the mid-mountain lift, both taken out. And so the infrastructure was in really bad shape. Basically, they didn't want Magic to come back as a competitor once they decided to close it. So there were a lot of obstacles. And, I give each kind of owner and operator along the way on this journey, we give them a lot of credit, because it's very hard to bring a ski area back unless you've got, tens of millions of dollars. You look at like Saddleback right now, they got huge investment to bring that back. The guys who brought, Magic back in, 97, 98, really had a couple $1 million. and given the state of the infrastructure and the importance of snowmaking, that's nothing, absolute pittance.
Yeah.
So Magic was always kind of for quite some time hanging on a thread of whether, would it open, who's owning the place, who's operating it, what's the plan. But what kept it alive and thriving was its ski community. It just had such a passionate base of hardcore skiers who just loved the terrain, and could deal with the fact that, it wasn't going to be perfect. It
Yeah.
still isn't perfect. It's just, you're going to get a mix of natural, maybe some snowmaking back in the day, and you just had to ride the waves, sometimes up, sometimes down. But there was such a strong community. And that's really what attracted us, my family. We had
Sure.
skied, had season passes because my parents had season passes to Stratton all those years. And, in the 90s, when I got married and started to have kids, I just didn't like the scene that was
Sure.
going on at a lot of these bigger mountains anymore.
Okay.
Everything, it was, the trails weren't as interesting anymore. Everything had been widened into boulevards and things like that. Snowmaking was everywhere. So the character of some of these great trails that I used to love to ski had kind of, like with grooming, had been flattened out. It just had gotten, a little boring to what I was used to. And it was a little more impersonal. We used to know families at Stratton and do all these things and do some crazy stuff back in the day in the 60s when we were young. That we just couldn't find that anymore. And nothing against Stratton. There are neighbors, and to each their own. But we were really looking for something a little more personal, a little more intimate. And when we first started skiing Stratton, we tried it. In Magic in '99. It just brought back memories when I was a kid. We'd come over here every now and then, along with Timber Ridge, and it was always the terrain. The terrain was unbelievable. It was so different than anything in Southern Vermont. But then the people that we met, the first couple of days, the first weekend we were up there, were like, now this is a place I want to bring my kids up skiing. And so that's when we just, committed to, buying season passes. We got involved in race programs, the free ride programs, volunteered for all that stuff, and really cemented our love for this place. And so it's that great combination for us of both the community that's here, that's passionate about the place, that just are open, friendly, don't care what you do, where you came from, but you made friends instantly, and with that great terrain that it had something for everyone. So that's what we loved when we first started coming here. And again, the only issue was money, really. Yep. How do you get this infrastructure to a place where it became a consistent, reliable ski area with what we envisioned eventually, which was that great mix of more snowmaking, but not grooming and making snow on every trail, which is pretty much possible here anyway with the steep trails. It's hard to get a groomer down a lot of that stuff. Yeah. And keep the character and soul of the place that is a mix of, you want to go hike the thing, go hike the thing. If you want to, ski in the woods, go ski in the woods. We keep expanding the glades. How those glades expand are all because of the people who want to give time and energy to it. You want some groomers and things of that sort. Now we have them. You want more snowmaking. Now we have that. You want a place where your kids can learn to ski. Now we have a conveyor lift for kids, a beginner area again. We've got a mid-mountain lift again. All those things that, that kind of rounded the place out so it could be successful. And I think without spending, tens of millions of dollars, we've done it because we've committed, $5 million to the place, which, I think is right sizing the investment to, the kind of ski area that we want to have here.
That's awesome. And that's great. It really is a place, something for everybody. And it has become that. And that's so brilliant to me, because back in the 90s when it was closed, we were teenagers. I graduated in 97. I'll date myself, so everybody knows I was there for that. I had a driver's license. I could have gone, but I didn't because it wasn't open. It was just reopening, and I was skiing for free at the American Ski Company places. But when you talk to everybody in the area who was going over there and they say, hey, you ever see that from the road when you're passing through Londonderry? Say, sure, I've seen it from the road. I know what Magic Mountain is. Absolutely. Why? They're like, the terrain is ridiculous. They talk about the steeps, and that's what everybody talks about. The reputation of the mountain, and I don't know if it's still the reputation of the mountain in some way, is that you got to know what you're doing if you're going to Magic. Like, you have to be able to handle it. I don't know if that's true, but if there's something for everybody, that can be true, but it's not the whole story. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, certainly Magic was hardcore expert skiing. And we've got skiers here who grow up skiing here that are some of the best skiers in the East, just because, like Mad River and Smugs, they're getting some really kick-ass terrain.
Sure, totally.
They're, you grow up here, you're going to learn on the best. And it's, as you say, it's everything. You're not just going to get groomered. Everyone can ski groomers pretty well, right? Doesn't even matter almost how steep they are. But you put some moguls in there, you put some trees in the way, you get rocks, you get, you name it. Every time you ski it, it's a different condition, and you got to be East Coast skiers are used to that, but here at Magic, you really hone that kind of level of being able to deal with just about everything. But I think the key for us was really kind of solidifying, obviously, lift service, and making sure lifts were operating here, but providing those lifts to places that could attract those families, those young families, instead of having to necessarily, if you're in the area, go ski, Bromley or some other place that had more relaxed terrain. You could really, now you can ski Magic because there's some great intermediates and, beginner type of skiing here, but there wasn't really access to it. And there wasn't a consistent, groom product for those people. And now we've got that. But even our intermediate stuff, a blue here is a little different than a blue at Stratton, a blue at Bromley, a blue in a lot of places. So you definitely up your game here, no doubt.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to go. I know I'm going to be there this year. I know a whole crew from PA who's coming up. We're all going to hit it together. We're very excited. And the excitement comes from a lot of what you say, because now there is a reputation of how awesome this place is, the success story that it is. And we're all big Indie Pass supporters as well. For those who haven't seen it yet, In Pursuit of Soul, Geoff was in that film as well as one of the contributors, as were many Indie Pass owners, managers, GMs, pick your title, groomers, ski patrol, everybody was in that film.
We had a lot, yeah.
And it was an awesome film because it also highlighted a lot of what Geoff said from the beginning, where he says he's there washing dishes. That's a very real thing, to being something for everybody, community driven, smaller, more intimate. Like, it's not only intimate with the social part, and I have a question about that here in a minute, but intimate with the mountain itself, almost like the mountain's a living person. Like he says, it's not going to be the same every day. You go to Stratton or Mount Snow, and I love both of those places. I worked for Mount Snow, skied Stratton for years, but it's the same. The trails are different. Obviously, the map is different, but they're the same. Like, whichever one you want better. I still love them both. But Magic could be one Tuesday, this Wednesday, that Saturday, this. You have to get to know your mountain, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But again, the social aspect, and that was the question I was really going to say, is getting to know people intimately. How I know we're all sick of talking about COVID, but it fascinates me how people seem to realize when you couldn't ride a lift with somebody that skiing was social. Was that a big part of it? Like, we all know how, from a business end, how COVID-19 restrictions just destroyed everything. It didn't destroy everything. We were pretty successful, but the social aspect, like how did that hurt at your mountain?
Well, I mean, I think at a lot of places it hurt to some extent, because I there is no doubt that, I mean, some people just come here, hey, they're after something, and they don't necessarily want to socialize with other people. But there's a huge crew here that, this is what they wanted. This is their family, and it's like their winter family, and they haven't seen their winter family for a few months. They can't wait to socialize, riding a lift with a complete stranger, also making a friend and talking about the place. So I think the social aspect was tough last year, but we found ways to do it. I mean, it's just magic is magic. And, one of the things that we're keeping that we added last year was what we call the T-bar. And the first original lift that was at Magic in 1960 was a T-bar. And it was a shack over a little up from the base area, but there was a shack a little bit up from the base area that also housed some electricity for our snowmaking. But it was the original shack for the T-bar that ran up Show Off, which was the first trail and the first lift. And so we're like, interesting. We wanted to push more things outside. We put a tent outside. We still had the tent. But all of a sudden we said, this is a great spot. It's got electricity, coolers and all that kind of stuff. Let's have a food and beverage area up here.
Totally.
And so we added it up there. It's got a fire pit, coolers, hot dogs, beer, whatever. And it became one of the social aspects. People were outside. There was a fire going. It was pretty safe. And it was a place to hang and kind of reconnect with people when we had to really manage how many people were inside and things of that sort. And that became a place where people could really just hang out, and people loved it. And so we're keeping it. And it's just one of those things like we do at Sunshine Corner, halfway up the mountain. We have impromptu snow bars and things of that sort, all licensed and things for DLC coverage and all that kind of stuff. But it was like, that's what people do around here, and they find ways to socialize and make it work. And so while we missed a bunch of people who, we credited a fair amount of passes last year because, they were in Connecticut or New Jersey or whatever, and were abiding by the restrictions, and they didn't come. So we missed them. But, the people who did come and things of that sort, we find ways to certainly have fun. Certainly people in the parking lot had some fun too. People innovate. And sometimes, through crises like this, you got to innovate. And sometimes it's pretty simple stuff, but you still have to execute it right.
Excellent. Tailgating did become a big thing again this year. I thought that was great. As long as people were doing it safely. And I hope it continues. I hope it continues at your mountain. In fact, don't be surprised. And this is a shout out to some of my top fans. They know who they are. Tech Rob, Scooter, Kendall, all those guys from Pennsylvania. They're coming up. Don't be surprised after this episode debuts if you get the invite on social media to the tailgate cheesesteak party. After John Hunt over at Whaleback, who is partnered in a way with you this year. After his episode came out, they like, dude, join us in the parking lot, cheesesteaks. Tailgates are going to be awesome. So don't be surprised if you get that invite. But then again, that's the cool thing about the Little Mountains is the people who run them. You can invite them. Like you're going to invite Bobcats to a tailgate cheesesteak. I mean, you could try. And do you want to? That place show up, but you might not show up. You can invite them, but we can invite Geoff Hatheway direct, and it's kind of awesome. I hope that all continues, all the social aspect. I hope it does. Like I said, I'm coming down. But I'm only up by White River Junction, so I'm not far. But the PA group and everybody, I have friends who live there. Everybody wants to get there this year. Do you expect now with travel restrictions lightened, everybody's out again? Do you expect? I mean, it kind of sounds like a stupid question. Obviously, we all expect business to go up. Do you expect it to go up a lot? Like, are you going to be hitting max numbers every day? You think, or are you just preparing for it?
We're preparing for it, but no, we won't. I think on the weekends.
Yeah.
We may holidays, all those kind of things. But for sure, it's going to be up from last year.
Yeah.
And it's been up every year. Since we bought the place in 2016, we've quadrupled our season pass holder base. So people want to come here. The really nice thing about, as we've grown, we've really grown the amount of people who are in the state of Vermont who make a commitment to Magic. I think when we purchased the place, maybe 15% of our season pass holders were Vermonters. Now it's up to 45% of Vermonters. We're getting just a huge turnout of people who appreciate, the feel, the community vibe, the awesome terrain, all that kind of stuff, but also providing really an affordable product for them. And we do a specific product for our Vermonters because we want, winter's hard enough,
Yeah,
in the state of Vermont.
totally.
And if you're not out enjoying, all that snow and what happens by skiing and riding and things of that sort, it makes the winter even longer. So we want to make sure kids, so we have special kids student passes, and parents of those students want to make sure they're getting out and have a place to go to that's very affordable, and where they can just kind of learn and grow up skiing and enjoy all the benefits. I mean, it's really, you know, this is a small community place in many respects, but the terrain skis much larger. This is a mountain with 1,500-foot vertical, and where it's top to bottom runs, you can get after it, and you feel like you could be at Mad River, Sugarbush, Smugs. It's that type of feel to it, but just on a little smaller scale. And everything comes down, to one, base area. So you can have your kids just go out and ski. They're not going to get lost.
Yeah.
And people will watch out for each other too. So it's got that feel, and that's where that's why we do put in restrictions on the amount of people who can be here. So
Sure.
a lot of that started with, for many areas with COVID.
Mhm.
But ever since we bought the place, we had a restriction on how many people could be here. And for the first time, because our pass holder base has grown so much, we're putting a restriction on how many passes we also sell. So not only day tickets are, we have a capacity limit on that, but also pass holders. Not in terms of once you buy a pass, you can come here anytime you want. But
Sure.
we're just not going to oversell anything because we want this experience to remain kind of uncrowded on the slopes. And I think people feel it when they come here. Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
This is why you've got fixed grip lifts, because they're not unloading 8 people at a time, constantly at the top of the hill, and then they all have to go down a certain amount of trails. Here, you have time to space people out, and really get to enjoy the terrain and not be looking over your shoulder for the most part.
Yeah.
So, and that's just a different feel. And some people, and I've always said it's a very self-selecting mountain.
Okay.
So because we don't have any high-speed lifts, and the new lift we're putting in, the quad, is not a high-speed lift. We intentionally, because one, it's affordable for our pocketbook, even though it's a
Yeah.
$2.5 million project, but it keeps that fixed grip steady, people in the air, not on the slopes, and it keeps that vibe and feel going that we want. So if it's overcrowded on the slopes or overcrowded in the lines, that's when we start to feel like, well, this is not what the experience we want here is. So it's just a different look at it. I think more people are starting to put in some of these capacity restrictions,
Mhm.
and keep those. But we've always believed in it, and for us, it works.
Yeah, it totally does. Like I said at the beginning, Magic is a huge success story. Like every year, it seems like more and more people are Magic Mountain supporters, or they want to get there. Like, I've never been there. I got to get there. It falls into that big kind of group of mountains that the Indy Pass, a lot of the Indy Pass mountains belong to, and I support it. I love it. Love Doug Fish. Love all these mountains that I've been to from it, because it's the same idea, smaller, intimate, one base area. Let your kids go. You'll find them. You'll find your friends. Doesn't mean you can drink more. It just means you'll find your friends.
Right.
It's this wonderful smaller vibe that I think, I don't know if the industry was ever missing it, because you all have been here. It's just that now people are they're finding it again, and like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's nice to have the hot tubs and the amenities and all the fancy stuff, and like people are gonna love riding that 8-pack up at Loon next year after, whenever it opens. And that's great, and I want to try it too. I like technology. That's neat, but that'll be once. Places I want to go back to are like this: less lines, you know, more intimate vibe, talking to people, getting to know people, getting to know the mountain, not paying $1,000 a day to go. And actually that brings me to another question. This one's kind of fun. Just because I follow social media too, to, you know, it's a great place to go. While it can be an awful place to be, social media, believe me, it's also great. You know what's going on what day. One thing in particular, as an example, I'll use, I think it was when the paid parking at Mount Snow was announced. And I don't know who runs your social media, but there was a little, not shade thrown, but I think there was a nudge at it. And I think it was Magic.
Shocking.
Was it Magic?
Shocking.
Yeah. There was a little nudge at it. Like, you still park for free over here, something. And you do it. And it's tongue in cheek and it's fun. They're not being jerk offs over there. Trust me. But to that point is that, are you guys throwing shade on purpose, or is it just for fun? Am I wrong?
Listen, we don't take ourselves too seriously.
Awesome.
Just in general.
Yeah.
You know, there's some serious stuff going on here, and, you know, infrastructure and money spent and all that kind of stuff. But you also have to have, you know, a little fun with where we are. We respect all our, you know, friends and neighbors that around here. They help us out with projects and things of that sort. The ski community, from a business standpoint, is very tight.
Sure.
But I'm not going to be bashful about saying this, is that ever since we bought this place, we are 100% focused on showing people that there is a difference. There is an alternative. There are choices out there that they may not have known about before. Yeah. And we're not afraid to point out the differences, most of it in a very positive way. But sure. You know, if you're gonna do something from a corporate standpoint that points out the difference between independent resorts that are run by real people and have real problems and real issues that they deal with on a daily basis, and we talk about them. It's like, you know, the quad is, you know, supposed to have been up, you know, 2 years ago, and we're still dealing with major engineering, infrastructure, contractor issues. That's just reality. Sure. And we don't, you know, we don't hide it. It's there. You know, people know, if they follow us, what's going on, you know, with the quad. I put out a newsletter every week, just about that, updates, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly. Most of it's good, but you know, there are projects that don't necessarily fit neatly and, you know, happen on time and, you know, on budget and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, we just try and tell people what's really going on. And that's, you know, so similar with when Mount Snow comes out and says, hey, we're going to, you know, charge for parking.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something we're not going to do, you know, for day parking and things. That we're just not going to do that. And there's a reason, you know, for not doing it. You know, we're trying to provide an affordable experience. These passes that Icon and Epic are great in terms of, wow, I can ski all these places, right? And for less than I used to be able to ski at Stowe or Stratton on their regular passes. So now all those prices have come down, which is, I think, great for the average and average skier who's out there, you know, 10, 15 times a year.
Sure.
But there's a price to pay for having such inexpensive products and passes, is that, believe me, you're going to pay for it somewhere else at some point in time. And I think people are starting to realize that. So if I have to pay, you know, for a nice, cheap mega pass, and then all of a sudden I have to pay for parking every day.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that just, if you ski, let's say it's $30 for parking. Sure. You ski 10 times. That's another $300 on your very inexpensive pass. Yeah. So, you know, those are just realities. And, you know, so maybe some of our social media is educational. But we try and do it in a way where we maybe poke a little fun at it. People can make fun of us. That's okay. We're not, not everything goes right here. But we do want to show people that there's an alternative. The indies, it's really tough to make ski areas successful. It really is tough. And the Vales and the Alteras have found a way to make a bunch of ski areas very successful, and for them to both survive, thrive, and do whatever. That's good for the ski area business. What's also good for the ski area business is that these smaller independent areas hopefully can thrive and survive and provide these alternative experiences, because we just don't want it to be where it's all about the people who can afford it the most, the people who are skiing 10 to 15 to 30 times a year, the really frequent skiers. If it's all about that, where is the future for skiing? And so I think all the industry has kind of what should we be doing to take an industry that's already pretty flat in terms of growth, just in terms of new people coming into the market. Now it's becoming really expensive unless you are already skiing 15 times a year. And if I'm a new skier just taking up the sport, I'm not skiing 15 times a year yet. I'm just trying it, see if it's going to work. I've got family. All of a sudden I got to buy equipment and things for, 4 people instead of just one person. And that's expensive. And then I got to buy. So, there's got to be a balance, an equilibrium to it. And we've been very vocal about trying to let people know there's an alternative, because we don't have the money to spend on advertising like all these combined resorts get to do with their passes. So how do we survive? Where do we fit in? We can't go the lowest common denominator all the time. Passes help us, put money back into our mountains so that we can survive through the summer. So, they've made it very tough on us with our pass prices. There's kind of a ceiling now. There used to be, we could charge whatever we wanted to, but now there's a ceiling because we've got to, stay within the Epic and Icon kind of, pricing scenario. So it's very tough on independent operators. The corporate industry has made it tougher. And that's capitalism. That's America at its best. But
it is.
But darn it, us entrepreneurs are going to find ways and alternatives, and we're going to point them out, hopefully in a fun way. But we're going to certainly point out the differences and what we think are areas that what we do, we think is the right way for us. Other people may think, paying for parking is just, hey, we go to ball games, pay for parking, so why should it be any different? And that's great. It's a free country. So, but we're going to be vocal about it.
Absolutely. And it's kind of awesome that you are, and that other operators are as well, because I don't know, I feel like the corporate models that are out there, and they have to do, like you said, they do what they do. I think in the end, they're going to push people, especially as they get more negative press. Like right now, day ticket cost is huge in media, not just social media, but ski media in general, because everybody's now pointing out this place 100, this place 150, this place 220, 230 for a day ticket. And what's that?
269 is the highest we've seen. I think, storm skiing, Stu, brought that one out. 269 at Steamboat.
Yep. Shout out to Storm Skiing. They did point that out yesterday, the day before, or maybe lately last week, but it was there. And you're right. That's getting, and while you're right, Epic Icon passes priced amazingly. If that's the type of skier you are, if you're out there, if you're skiing 3 times a day, none of it makes sense. But places like this, it makes sense. Places like Magic, places like the other Indy Pass Mountains that are in Vermont, Jay and Bolton and Suicide 6, which I love. And Suicide 6 isn't even big, and I love it. It's a great place. And I think those alternatives, people are going to be seeking them out. In fact, during COVID, I was talking to a lot of people who went Indy Pass specifically because the places were smaller. I can be safe, lesser numbers. And they get there and they're, and they talked about it being a place that you see the sign on the highway, but you pass because you're on your way to Stratton, Mount Snow, Killington, Okemo, you name it, but you pass it. You're like, I'm just going to go to where I know. So now you go somewhere else and you're like, holy crap, this place is friggin' amazing. saying, I think people are longing for that. They're starting to realize they're longing for it. And you're gonna have people beating down the door once, you reach a point where, like, say, Magic sells a number of passes for a time and the people are like, damn it, I didn't get mine.
Yeah.
Damn. I think you're going to get that because of the popularity of places like Magic. And like I said, growing up, Magic was popular with people who would hike up. And we heard about it, but we were skiing everywhere else because it was closed. Now, I talk to people. They're like, we're going because we can and we love it and we want to see it. And I hope they do keep coming this year. Do you have what's your schedule of events for this year? I think I saw December 18th, second week of December opening. Anything special happening?
Well, basically, we're bringing bands back.
Nice.
Our Black Line Tavern, right here. But anyway, right here, the Black Line Tavern is, just a great spot for opera in general. So usually every Saturday we've got opera music there. We're going to have that back this year. And then Saturday nights, our Black Line Music Series. We usually just get some great bands. Most of the concerts are going to be free, but we do have some paid ones for the bigger ones. And but we get great sponsorships from local areas to help us pay for all those bands. So the 18th we'll have a opening day band. That night we've got December 30th, we've got Lizards. We just announced that. Fish Tribute. They're going to be here on December 30th. That's going to be a paid for concert, but that's going to be a big one. New Year's is just always huge here.
Totally.
We start with New Year's Eve. We do an event called Tuck It.
Okay.
We've got like a trilogy of our own kind of extreme events.
Okay.
And it's stuff that few other places do, but it's just been our heritage. We've got the slopes for extreme events, and so but now we've started since we purchased a place to solidify like 3 that we really have fun with. One is on December 31st. It's called Tuck It.
Okay.
Tuck It, we're pretty straightforward with the names, I guess, but Tuck It.
Yeah, totally.
We hadn't. There used to be, it was Tuck It or something it. But
if you want to, go ahead. No restrictions.
We're still a family place, so we couldn't do that. But so Tuck It is basically the only radar gun speed event in the East.
Awesome.
To crown the craziest, fastest skier and rider in the East. And basically it's different age groups and all that kind of stuff as well, men, women. So it's open to anyone. Nice. But the top 3 speed events, we give out $1,500 in cash. Nice. for the top 3 finishers, plus some silo skis usually and some other things. So it's a really fun event. We do it right out here on Black Line. We groom out a corridor, and then there's a speed zone. People hit that. We radar gun them. The speeds approaching high 70s, 80s. So it's really fun to watch. And we announce the event, and it's probably me. It'll probably be me and another guy. But we announce it from the Black Line Tavern deck. You can look up and see the event. So we have a lot of fun with it. And then it rolls just right into, opera ski music. And then we've got a band that night for New Year's with fireworks at midnight to bring it in. So, that's kind of how we kind of open the year up. It's going to be fun. We're also going to do probably a Uller Fest on the 18th as well. Our opening day, we'll burn some skis and drink some beer, probably.
Nice.
I can imagine. But so we've got that big ski event. Then we got another one in February that we do, which is called Road to Ruin. Which, if you've ever seen, that classic 80s ski movie about the Chinese downhill, basically it's a take on that.
Yep.
Without the alliteration or poking fun at obviously any Asian people. That's just not cool.
Yeah.
So we call it Road to Ruin. But that concept of just heading down the hill as fast as you can, and really it's just the first. It doesn't matter how you look,
Yeah.
what tricks you do. That doesn't matter on this one. It's just from the start. We have probably about 10 per segment. We carve it up into different flights,
Okay.
10 per flight, and the first one to get down, let's say among men 60 plus, the first one
Mhm.
down goes on to the finals.
Yeah.
And we'll have women 18 to 49, we'll have boarders a flight, we'll have kids flight, we'll have whatever. Then the winners of each of those flight all go up, start at the same time, and it's just whoever can get down from which into black line. So it's a pretty tough trail, but again, it's one you can watch from the deck. Some good wipeouts, and we'll be announcing that and all that kind of stuff. So that's another one in February. Then in March we close it out with what we call Master of the Mountain, which is for the all-around best skier, because it combines a classic IFSA type of free ski event where you're judged basically on how you ski it, any tricks that you do as you're skiing a free ski event. So half of it is free ski event, and then you go into a giant slalom course. So it's one continuous event, but you have to finish it off with a giant slalom course. So it combines both racing and free ride and free ski into one event. And so that's a timed event from top to bottom. So, and then you get time taken out for all the tricks you do and things of that sort, how you ski that upper part. So, 3 kind of extreme events all done basically right out here on Blackline. And you can see it from the lodge. It's all announced at the lodge, big community events, fun, just a different take on, obviously the traditional stuff that we do like regular racing and things.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So we have a lot of fun with it.
That's awesome. Actually, the Road to Ruin is one I did want to check out, and I haven't been able to as of yet. This year, it's gonna happen. I'm going. Not competing because I'm not. I'll die up there, man. I'm not even gonna lie about it. But the cool thing about that is what caught my eye is, like you said, it's very much out of Hot Dog the movie. I have my copy. I've seen it. We all know. So I looked into it, and the trails he's talking about they are marked diamond on the trail map. So you're already thinking, wow, that's something else. Go look at it at a topographic map, a topo map. It's I couldn't do it. Not at speed. There's no way I could do it at speed. I just have lost all of my ability, and I don't lie about it. But it's gonna be something to see. Like, this is the stuff you don't see in the X Games, kids, and you don't see it in the Olympics. It's something more. It's something different, and I think it's gonna be awesome. So 3 big events, and then the usual season. You guys running 5-6 days or 7 days open this year?
Basically, we do our regular schedule is Thursday through Thursday through Sunday. And then we do have a bunch of mountain rentals. One of the things we do is we do rent out the mountain on Mondays through Wednesdays. We don't do it completely. We don't pack them all in because we do like to give our people days off. But we do private mountain rentals. And so those are mostly on Mondays, except for holidays. So holidays we're open to the public as well during the week. Obviously Christmas to New Year's, and also President's Week we're open. MLK Monday we're open in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. So, but for us it's a pretty busy schedule. And again, it's kind of how, from a business standpoint, we approach it. Magic has always kind of had a limited schedule since it reopened. And we're kind of staying with that in general because, weekdays are not huge money makers. And so it's one of the ways as an independent skier we can afford to, have the prices that we have for our day tickets and things of that sort is is not being open 7 days a week all the time. But now we have these private mountain rentals, which provide us revenue and things of that sort, guaranteed kind of revenue on some of those days. And they're not that expensive to put on. For people to buy into those things. It's like $6,500 as a starting base for renting the mountain. Which, if you think about it, these days, that's not too many $269 tickets.
Yeah.
So, but it's been good for us and provides some revenue and provides for both people who just want to have it with 50 of their friends, or a company that wants to have an outing. It's a kind of a unique way for them to experience skiing at Magic. So.
That's great. You hear very rarely. It's a rarity that you can rent out a mountain. There's a couple places dotted here and there, and they are independent places that do it. These aren't corporate hills that are doing that.
Right. Platikill is one.
Yep.
And also Pico does so.
Oh, there you go. I didn't even know that.
Give some free advertising to them.
I didn't even know Pico did it. I that fascinates me. My friends and I have talked about that for years. Like, dude, we should do this. 6,500. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Especially as you pointed out, as the day ticket prices go up, you get 50 of your friends together, you're really not paying much more.
Yeah, and exactly. I mean, if you have 100 friends, it's basically $65 a ticket here, and you got the mountain to yourself.
Yeah,
so it's less than our $74 ticket. So it's it's very doable. And it's just a really neat experience because you really do just have this place, to yourself, which is pretty awesome.
That's so awesome. Geoff, you might be getting that call from me this year. If I can get the group to do it, that just sounds great. Yeah. Well, we're getting close to our time. So this was awesome. I think Magic is awesome. Like I said, it fascinates me as a local who was here as a kid, who started skiing down at Memorial Park in Brattleboro, but Magic was closed for a lot of my time. And that's the same with other places like Maple Valley. And I got in at Haystack before it closed, things like this. I definitely want to get down there. I can't wait. Like I said, I'm coming with a group, so we're going to be bringing people from all over the place. And we're going to enjoy it. Like I said, they will invite you to the parking lot.
And I'll be there in the parking lot.
Nice.
I'll probably be parking your car or a van or whatever. And then we'll certainly partake in the party part too. So
it's awesome. And that is the beauty of Magic Mountain and Geoff Hatheway and Indy Mountains and everything. Anything else you want to go over, throw out there? Shamelessly plug, go for it.
No, I mean, this is, it's been great chatting with you, just sharing, again, I didn't grow up as a ski area operator.
Sure.
So this is all new to me, other than I've loved skiing since I was 3 years old and always had a vision for what skiing should be. And, it just aligns really well with what Magic has been and is becoming. So, we're just really happy to be here. It's not an easy, this stuff doesn't happen without a lot of hard work, and the employees here that we've got here are just exceptional. They're so welcoming. They bust their butts. The ski industry isn't known for, high pay. So, but, we've made great strides there. People share if we do well here at Magic, people share in that with bonuses and things of that sort.
That's so awesome.
I can't thank all the people who work here enough, because they really do make this happen and make Magic happen. So shout out to them.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And believe me, there is a whole culture of skiers still out there that appreciates places like this and what people do. And Geoff and all of his staff, it's awesome. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate it. Magic Mountain. Of course, they're on social media. Check that out. Links in descriptions, both video and audio versions. They do have their website. Might as well pop it up so it's shown. There it is. Magic Mountain. Seasons Pass with Soul. The road less traveled. It's awesome out there on Route 11. I do love talking to a local because I know all these road numbers too. And like I said, I was just on, passed right by it yesterday. So thank you, Geoff. That was awesome. Check out Magic Mountain, both online and in person. It's wonderful. Real quick, reservations this year or no?
Indy Pass, we recommend getting reservations just so you don't get shut out. But day tickets, again, buy them in advance. They're a little cheaper than walk-up window, and it guarantees you a spot here.
Excellent. So there you go. Very easy, very basic. Check it out. Indy Pass, Day Pass, if you're season pass holder, because you're out there. Check it out. Geoff, thank you very much. I love it. I will be down there, and I will see you this winter, as will others.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. Thank you.
Cheers.
And there you have it, everybody. Geoff Hatheway from Magic Mountain, owner operator, and does everything he can there to help out. Just working. That's the Indy Mountain way, man. You work and you get it done, and you try to have a good time while you do it. Thank you to Geoff Hatheway again. That was very awesome. I enjoyed that interview. I hope you did too. As I said, I love talking to local folks because when he brings up Route 30, he brings up Route 121 and Route 11 and Jamaica and Bromley and everything around here. I know it too because I lived here too and I grew up down there. Awesome talking to a Vermont local. Love that. It was great. And it's going to be a great year at Magic. All the events, like, again, you don't see that stuff. Those should be Red Bull events. Those are like Red Bull level events. Just tuck and run and a big multi-start at the Road to Ruin and everything. It's just going to be an awesome year down there. And the fact that you can rent out Magic Mountain, 6,500, are you kidding me? That is not bad. I'm not kidding. If I can find enough people, because I can't just write a check for 6,500. Sure, not everybody can, but if we can get the money together just to have the mountain to ourselves for a day, that is awesome. Magic Mountain, you can see it scrolling down. For those of you watching the video version on YouTube and Rumble, you see the website scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You can obviously find it through a quick browser search, whichever search engine and browser you like to use. And again, social media, Magic Mountain is everywhere as well. Find it, follow them, check the mountain out if you can. It seems like such an awesome place. I'm going to be down there at least twice, maybe more, because I do have a Whaleback Seasons Pass, so I get discounted ticket down there at least once or twice. So we'll see what we can come up with down there in Magic. I'll be there. Like I said, the East Coast skiers will be there. Tech Rob, Scooter will all be there. It'll be great. Maybe Unofficial Travis too. These folks who follow and hang with and talk to Ski Rex Media. And I hope you can become one of them and you follow Ski Rex Media. Remember, skirexmediamerchshop.com, patreon.com, Ski Rex Media. All the social media platforms, well, 4 social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow me, like everything, subscribe, rate. 5-star Apple ratings are appreciated, and I've had them. So you tell me what I can do and leave comments, because if you don't, then I don't know what's going on. I need that interaction. Skiing's a social sport, and media is a social business. So let me know what's going on. Talk to me here. I'll be out there. Also look for plugs for any live streams. There are times I do a live stream every so often, and I do not just ask for industry professionals for live streams. I ask for just regular folks. Right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I hope you join me on the next one. I hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you out there this winter at Magic Mountain and other places in Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, all over New England and the East Coast, and maybe even one in the Midwest, and we'll get into that another day. Right. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy. Tim from Ski Rex TV.